Alright guys, so let's hit this. Okay. First off, chill. Gotta stay calm. Gotta breathe. And focus. Use the thought process. Don't make this thing as harder than what it needs to be, okay? Alright, so the first one, HF. Work the thought process. I got two elements. Do I have an overall charge?
No.
No. Therefore, I go down to what type of bond? Covalent, because hydrogen is a nonmetal. Even though it's over on that left side, it's the exception. It's the nonmetal. So we're dealing with a covalent. Is it an acid?
Yes.
Yes. How do you know it's an acid? Hydrogen is in the front. So we name it using the binary acid rules. Why? Because binary acids, 2. Alright? So binary acid rule, hydro in the front, fluorine, remove the ending, and add ic. Acid. Hydrofluoric acid. Okay?
Got it.
Does this thing work for you? Let's go to this one. We got an NaNO3. How many elements?
3.
3. Dead giveaway. There must be a polyatomic. What's the polyatomic? Nitrate. Right there. NO3. Alright, so now we know the polyatomic. You move to the question, what is bonded with it? A transition metal?
Nope.
A metal from column 1 or column 2?
Yep.
Yes, so the first thing we do is name the cation on, which is that metal, which is?
Sodium.
Sodium. And then we name the polyatomic. Nitrate. So let's move to the second one here. Third one, sorry. Third one. What is it?
It looks like you're second, but I'm third. Because you're so close.
Yeah. I was like, wait a minute, that don't seem right. I feel like I've done more. Alright, so Ni2S3. 2 elements. Do I have an overall charge? No, so I move to what type of bond? Ionic. Does it have a transition metal?
No.
Yeah, it does.
Yes.
Yes, it does have a transition metal. Nickel is a transition metal. Number 28, right? Yep. So, let's name it. And when we name it, what do we use?
It's a stock system.
Stock system. So, we name the element nickel. Parentheses for a Roman numeral. Saying 2.
What's the way to figure that out again if you don't? How do you work it out?
This is what I do. Guaranteed way to not mess up. Look at the anion, or look at the polyatomic. Look at the negative part of this. So here's my negative. Okay, here's my sulfur, which is sulfide. And what's the charge of sulfide?
-2.
-2. How do you know it's -2?
Because it's in the 16th column.
It's in the 16th column.
Well,
I thought you was going to say, you looked at it, you were like, as soon as I asked you, went,
Well, I was thinking
table.
of sulfur, but I didn't know like the whole sulfide. It's kind of threw me off.
Sulfide is when it's actually got that charge to it. That's why I said that. How many of these do I have?
1, 2, 3.
3. Okay. So if Crick tells you the number of them, you're freaking out right now. You're feeling some pressure. What's -2 times 3? -6. Now with that, the other side, the nickel, has to equal a total charge of that. So we have to have a +6. How many nickels do I have?
2.
2. So +6 divided by 2 is
3.
3. So the charge of the nickel
3.
is 3, not 2.
See, me
Okay.
bothering you yesterday in your biology class really paid off.
So nickel 3,
Trust. It would just be sulfur.
sulfide. We don't use tri.
Okay.
It's not covalent. We We don't use the prefixes.
Wait, where did +6 come from?
Came from here. The sulfur adds up to be a -6 because every sulfur is -2 and there's 3 of them.
Okay.
So the other side of it, okay, the positive has to be the same thing. It has to be a +6. So I got the +6. There's 2 of them. That means everyone has to equal 3.
And the reason why is because it doesn't have a charge, right? So if it did have a charge, because it has to be.
They both have charges.
Well, I mean, like if it had like a negative on the side.
If it's like an overall.
An overall charge. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, if it had an overall charge, it's different.
That's what I was.
Had an overall charge is partly common. All right.
That's where I got this.
It's an acid.
Didn't even get that.
Questions?
Not right now.
All right, moving on. Right here.
It's an acid.
H3PO2. You jumped ahead of me. What do we got?
It's an acid.
It's an acid. Awesome. How many elements? 3. So there must be a polyatomic. Where's the polyatomic?
Right there.
PO2. What's bonded to it?
Hydrogen.
Hydrogen. So it's an acid. So we use the oxyacid rules, which is based off that polyatomic in the first place. So let's get the polyatomic first. Will y'all be truthful with me? You be honest. How many of you got that the polyatomic was hypophosphite? This is how we got hypophosphite. It's based off the root. PO4 3 negative. It's phosphate. 1 less oxygen. Oh wait. PO3 3 negative. Phosphite.
But don't you still have to add acid to the ends?
Yeah, I'm not done with it. Close. And then 1 less, which is 2 less than the root, is hypophosphite. It goes back to the polyatomic rule. Okay? So, looking here at this, we remove the ending. We remove the ite because ite becomes us. O-U-S, acid.
I put that, but instead of hypo, I actually put hypo.
It's okay. And with this, you remember that sheet I gave you guys? The acid nomenclature worksheet that I told you I got those highlights? This is an example of one of them that is highlighted that I will not have on your quiz, because the truth of it is you remove the ending and you add O-R-O-U-S.
Okay, so then I did spell it right, technically.
Yes. I'm worried about the method though. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Is everybody okay?
No. I'm okay. I'm surprised.
If you can get to this right now is all I care about. Hypophosphate. Hypophosphous acid. It's hard to say. Questions? Guys, if you have questions, please ask me. On what part?
No.
Is it the hypo? Or just the-
I just can't remember that.
Remember what part?
Like to get the hypo.
We got, look at that chart. We made a chart.
Alright, so let's go here. Cobalt 3 arsenide. Alright, I put cobalt. What's the charge? +3. You guys are great help. Arsenic is what? -3. How do I know it's -3?
It's in 15 call.
What's the face for it? Let's wait. Arsenic's number 33. 15th column.
I was looking for cobalt, but there's cobalt.
What was it me?
It's.
Cobalt.
Oh, I see that.
Question? No?
Are you asking me?
No. That's got a face from
Can
cat.
you explain that one? Because that's what I didn't figure out. how to-
Explain what?
Like, how he's done it.
I ain't done. I just marked the stuff. I put cobalt with a 3+ charge because there's a 3 right here that tells me the charge, and then arsenic I put 3- because it's from the 15th column, which means it has a -3 charge.
Okay, so I understand where that -3 is coming from. So where's that +3 come from?
The Roman numeral.
Right there, Roman numeral. What was the point in the stock system? Why did we put the charge? The charge always went within the parentheses. That Roman numeral always told us the charge because they carry multiple different charges. And in this case, it's literally a 1-to-1 ratio. It's the same charge. CO. AS.
So COAS is the answer, right?
Yes.
What would be a case where you would switch the charges? Just when they're different?
It's
from
like,
each other?
yeah, for different. So like if this was a 2 and that was a 3, 3 here, 2 there.
Camera a little bit bigger so I can see.
Which ones can't you see?
I can't see the nickel one. And
I'll tell you what you're gonna help me with, because I got a lot, I got a little board space if you moved up. Normally I would write bigger, but I'm trying to give a lot of information right now before tomorrow. Alright, so let's move here. Magnesium hyposulfite. Magnesium, what's the charge? 2+. How do I know it's 2+?
It's in the second column.
It's in the second column. It's either y'all are not feeling this or y'all are like completely lost.
I'm trying to get it right.
Like it's never
I'm trying to get it right.
Okay. Magnesium 2+, hyposulfite, polyatomic, coming from the root, 2 less than the root's sulfate, SO4, 2-. So in this case, 2 less oxygens, SO2, 2-.
And then they would cancel, right? And then it would just-
Yeah.
So it would just be NGS.
GSO2.
I'm so happy.
Alright, then next from it is one of my personal favorite tricks that I always love to use that hopefully you didn't let me get you caught with it. Iodine. I2. Diatomic. Exists in nature, bonded to itself. Then this next one, this is when it gets easy, is when we're going from the prefixes to the formula. Because literally you see the prefixes, you know the numbers. Phosphorus, tetra is 4, sulfide, and deca is 10. So tetraphosphorus decasulfide, sorry. Tetraphosphorus decasulfide, P4S10. Alright. Moving onward. If you have a question, stop. CO4, 2-. This is one more oxygen than the root carbonate, which means percarbonate.
Why is it that?
Because it's one more oxygen than carbonate. Carbonate CO3, 2-. You add an oxygen, get you per. It goes back to that chart we made with those polyatomics a while ago. All right, so let's go over here. SiO2. I have two elements. I do not have an overall charge. So it means I ask myself what type of bond it is. It's a covalent. And why is it covalent? Non-metals bonded together. Silicon's a non-metal, oxygen is a non-metal. Is it an acid? No. So I name it using the covalent prefixes. So what do we name it? Silicon dioxide. Now I want to bring this to a point to you right now. Why did I say silicon here, but then up here it has tetraphosphorus? You always put the prefix with the first element unless it's 1. I only have one silicon, so I don't put monosilicon dioxide. That is wrong. I'm telling you right now, straight up, you know me by now. What am I going to do? I'm going to make sure something like this is on your quiz, to where somebody's going to put monosilicon, and they're going to be wrong. If there is a 1 here, or there's not nothing, if there's nothing there, it's understood to be a 1, it means you do not put mono, you just put the element name. On the second one, you always put the prefix. Is there a question on that? Okay. HNO2. I got 3 elements. There must be a polyatomic. Where's my polyatomic? NO2. So, NO2, what's the polyatomic's name? Nitrite. So what is bonded to it? A transition metal? A metal from column 1 to column 2?
Yep. Oh, well, hydrogen doesn't. He's the exception.
So is it a metal from column 1 or column 2? Hydrogen is a non-metal. So it's not. Is hydrogen bonded with it?
Yeah.
Which means it is a what?
Acid.
So it's an oxyacid. So I use my oxyacid rules, which we did before. So write the polyatomic name, nitrite. Remove the ending, the ITE. Ite goes to us. And then add acid. So nitrous acid. So we'll drop down here to the last one if you haven't drawn the conclusion yet. It's the same thing.
Why are you going to pull one of those?
I did last time. I can't remember if I did this time or not. I don't think I did. Okay? So let's look here. This is a good one. Really, really good one. So I got a nickel. Let's look this way. 3 elements. There must be a polyatomic. Where's the polyatomic?
PO4.
PO4. Name of the polyatomic is phosphate. Very nice. What is bonded with it? A transition metal? Yes. Therefore, we use the stock system. When we're going to do that, first thing we do is we name the element nickel. In parentheses, we will put the charge. And then we name, that was really heat right there. The country came out there, ladies and gentlemen. We named the polyatomic, so phosphate. So now we got to figure out what the charge of this thing is. Does anybody know the charge? Okay, so let's work it. I got phosphate. What's the charge on phosphate? It's a -3. How many of those phosphates I got? 1. I have 4 oxygens.
Okay.
Remember, if it's not in parentheses, there's just one of them.
It's just 1.
-3 times 1 is -3, so I have to have a +3 over on those nickels. How many nickels I got? 1. So I got a plus 3 charge, so the charge on nickel is positive 3.
Yeah, I got that right, even though I got it wrong.
So nickel 3 phosphate. How's everybody doing?
Pretty decent.
Very nice. Rolling on as we got 2 minutes. I know, pressure, right? Hydrochloric acid.
Binary.
Binary acid because it says hydro. Man, you've got to get an A on this quiz tomorrow.
I hope so.
So hydrochloric.
Tasha Harper to the office.
So I got H for hydrogen and then chlorine. Where'd they get chloric from? Chlorine, so Cl. Here's one I threw out there that would be a give you. Hopefully you got it. So this calcium oxide. What's the charge on calcium? Plus 2. What's the charge on the oxide? Negative 2. So they're 1 to 1. So it's a CaO. And then I gave you this one just to be nice and generous to you because I gave you 15 really difficult ones. Sodium chloride. So I don't even think you need to ask. But NaCl. What are your questions? How many of you are walking out of here feeling like you're going to do good tomorrow?
I'm gonna do
Diatom. Here's your diatom.
But don't forget that you have it.
Hydrogen,
Matthew Ray
Nitrogen.
to the office. Matthew Ray.
oxygen, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, and iodine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They make a 7 on the periodic table. Hydrogen off by itself, but if you go from nitrogen, oxygen, and fluorine, it gets you to the top of the 7.
And then you go down.
And then you go down, the halogens, fluorine, bromine, and iodine.
Harley Harris to the office.